Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted you're joining us today because the theme of today's session is humor, the bizarre, the downright nonsense nature of many of our dreams. Why is that? Why does it happen? And for this session, I'm actually going to be interviewed because one of my passions is to make dreaming fun. And I'm asking my co-author from a book I wrote a few years ago called The Premonition Code, neuroscientist Dr. Julia Mossbridge, to interview me. And we brought in the magic of stand-up comedian and best-selling author Brooks Palmer to help us just engage with the highly entertaining and often bizarre, sometimes erotic, nasty, all sorts of weird elements in our dreams. So the theme is the odd and bizarre of dreams. Over to you, Julia.
Thank you, Theresa. This is very exciting. I rarely get to interview you. And you're quite an interesting person, as people will discover in about 2 seconds. And we're definitely going to delve into the nonsense world. But first, I want to ask you, Theresa, and then I'll ask this other guy, Brooks, whoever that guy is. I wanted to ask you, Theresa, just briefly, can you just give the audience a sense of why you started working on dream interpretation, why you were compelled to write one of the best-selling dream dictionaries in the world? I think it's been translated into every language, as far as I can tell. It's profoundly successful and people love it. What is it about dreams or your experience with dreams that made you do that?
From a young age, I have fallen in love with my dreams. And actually, this backdrop here is one of my first dream images. I remember I was 3 or 4 and I had this image of a brilliant burning bright tiger behind in my dreams, and I just found it so magical. I wasn't frightened of the tiger, I just wanted to go and talk to it. And then I dreamt of fire breathing dragons. And what started to happen in my childhood is that my dream life was so interesting. I must have been a dream, forgive the pun, for my parents, because I just couldn't wait to go to sleep. Then I saw The Wizard of Oz, and I wanted to dream like that. So I've always been in love with dreaming. I did grow up in a family of psychics, intuitives, where interpreting your dreams every morning was commonplace. And then I was lucky enough to earn a place at King's College, Cambridge University, where I studied religion and theology. And one of my specialist areas was dreams in religion and the different interpretations of it, the spiritual interpretation. And I also looked at the psychological interpretation. And then I have been blessed, following my leaving Cambridge, to write about my passion, dreaming, and to write book after book after book about it. So that's really, I hope that answers your question, Julia. That's I've been in love with dreams ever since my eyes were open, I think, and shut.
That's really beautiful. So you took your passion and you just lived your life from that. Absolutely. That's really cool. So there's this other guy here. You mentioned this guy, Theresa, Brooks Palmer. Brooks, I want to, just so that people can get to know you, I want to say a couple things. So you're a clutter buster. You have been a clutter buster. You've written 2 best-selling books about decluttering, but also you're really focused on the creative life and humor. And you're my husband, and I like you a lot. So that's my bias. But can you tell the audience a little bit how you came into the world of dreams? Oh, by the way, Brooks and I are both wearing our pajamas because we just woke up and we thought it would be appropriate for this nonsense and dreams sort of interview of Theresa. Brooks, can you tell us a little bit briefly about your humor and dreams and decluttering all in one story? Oh, hi.
Oh, I was sleeping.
Oh, yeah. Good morning.
I was like, I wanted to sleep so I could be prepared to talk about dreams. So, and I wore my glasses so that I could see the dreams better.
Did it work?
Theresa told me to do that. It worked. Yeah.
She knows a lot about dreams. That's excellent.
Yeah, it's so much better. I was like, wow, okay, I understand now. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, what you had for breakfast, I know, because I believe that I made what you had for breakfast, or at least part of it. But what I wanted to know, what in your life brought you to being so in love with creativity and at the same time working on decluttering? Those are creativity, humor, decluttering. How do those relate for you, and how do they relate to dreams? Just real quick.
Well, the thing is, like, I remember the day I was born and it came out and everything was like really bright and everybody's like, talking fast. And I was like, I thought, all right, I better like get my act together because this is so much more difficult than being in the womb. And I just thought, then that's when I started feeling a lot more creative, you know. And the clutter busting, that was a default thing that happened because I don't know why. Yeah. But the thing is, I ended up decluttering it for a bunch of years and wrote books about it. And I seemed to help people. So I figured that all happened.
And then what about creativity in general? How does that, and your dream life, is there any kind of relationship between humor and creativity in your dream life and decluttering? How does that all fit together?
Well, that's probably a good question to ask. This is my, I sleep with this bear at night.
Oh, what's the bear's name?
A berry bear, and
Yes,
or
very
polar
creative.
bear. And so polar bear is really doesn't talk, so I'm gonna have to talk instead for polar bear. So creatively, I guess I got the DNA that makes me too creative, so I just end up making up a lot of stuff. And the dreams are very similar because that feels like a lot of things are being made up there too. So I find them very similar, if you know what I mean.
Do you even differentiate between your dreams? I know I'm familiar with your dreams because you tell me when you wake up. They're like, you do a lot of playing on stage with ZZ Top and Bob Dylan and the Rolling Stones. And those make a lot of sense, like wish fulfillment dreams. But you also have a lot of nonsense and erotic and other kinds of weird, nasty, and
I've done
sort of
everything.
surreal. Yeah.
I've been killed. I've killed people. I've been on stage with famous people, and I mean, the list is endless, you know. But the interesting thing for me about dreams and being awake is that when I'm dreaming, I'm not thinking I'm dreaming. I think I'm awake and I'm doing stuff. And there's all these memories that are the years worth of memories. You know, it's like this is not a dream. There's no dream feeling. And then when I wake up into this, it's like, oh, I was just dreaming. So I don't really think there's any difference. I mean, this could easily be a dream. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, I was on this show being interviewed about dreams. So, because the experience is exactly the same. It's like, this is reality, where the dream is, even if I'm flying through the sky like I was the other night, that was like, this is real. This is really happening, you know?
Well, okay, we beg to differ on this, and we'll get into this later when we talk about erotic dreams, because when you're having sex with someone else in your dream, I would like you to think that that's not the same thing as this. But we'll discuss further either on this interview or aside. I wanted to know, Theresa, thank you, Brooks, for that brief introduction. We'll get back further. Your mic on, just because I think that now we can kind of have a little roundtable discussion about, I think it'd be fun to just all three of us talk about how we deal with nonsense dreams, what we do with them, how we feel about them, where they come from. But Theresa, I wanted to just, if you would start us off, since you have this incredible experience with your dream interpretation work. How do you understand nonsense dreams? What do you do with erotic dreams? What do you do with all those?
And there's that famous quote, isn't it? Dreams allow us to go quietly and safely insane every single night. And one of the reasons I was so excited that Brooks decided to join us, because he is such a well-known decluttering expert and author. And I firmly believe that a lot of our dreams are tidying up our mind, decluttering them, getting rid of anxieties and tensions in a really safe way, and also allowing us to do things and be things and experience things that we could never do in our waking life, because we need to get it out of our system. And I found it so interesting actually during the lockdown that I got so many messages on my socials and through my email from people who are having erotic dreams. You mentioned that, and these were people often in committed relationships and thinking, what's the matter with me? Do I want to leave my partner? I'm rampant at night. What's going on? But it was basically, I think, the dreaming mind just giving people a sense of adventure, really, because we are all restricted in our lives. And that's what I think the dreaming mind does. It gives you an opportunity to escape, have adventure, and do things in a way that doesn't hurt other people and is totally safe. And then you can wake up and do the right thing. That's where the role of nightmares is as well. These bizarre, murdering people and all these things. It's meeting our shadow, surely. Which we need to. I mean, the shadow is within all of us. And that's, that famous saying, isn't it? There are two wolves within us, one with the intention for good and compassion and empathy, and another full of evil, hate, lust, anger. And the little boy asks the elder of the tribe, which wolf wins? And he says, well, the one you choose to feed. And I think, at nighttime, we get to meet our shadow, which is in us, just as there's night and day. There's night and day in us, and we are allowed to understand it, face it. But then when we wake up, to have the choice to do the right thing, because that's true inner strength, isn't it? Knowing you have the capacity for toxic behavior, but choosing not to indulge it. But our dreaming mind allows us to do it safely in a way that doesn't harm us. That's a very long answer.
That was a great answer. That gets us started, because I was talking with an 8th grader who was doing a project on dreams, and she was asking me about the dreaming brain, and I started to describe it in almost exactly that way, that the brain is keeping track of, well, have you been having good experiences lately where you feel like you've won something or you felt like you've succeeded? If not, it might give you a wish fulfillment dream to kind of balance that out, right? Or have you been having a lot of those experiences and you're kind of not noticing the things that you need to notice in order to make better choices? That might give you an anxiety dream, right? So it's always balancing what's going on in your life with what dreams it's giving you. And of course, if you're in an unhealthy state, like if you have an anxiety disorder or something, it might continually give you anxiety dreams, or if you have PTSD, right? But in terms of what it's doing, it's really trying to balance out your experiences and giving you the experience that you want, but you also don't want. Like when it comes to sex, like back to what I said to Brooks, he and I would talk about how we would be really annoyed because we'd have an erotic dream, but we would have enough of a conscience in the dream. But I would say, like, I would be having sex with some amazing guy or something, and then I would say, wait, I can't do this, I'm married. Or, oh, it's okay, my husband died. And I don't want to stop sex in my dreams. And I don't want to tell someone that my husband died in my dreams just so I could have sex with them. So what we decided was, in our waking life, we would make the intention that when we were sleeping and dreaming about sex, we could just have sex with that person. Like our minds would just decide that, oh, I'm dreaming now, I can have sex with that person. And it's almost like a lucid dream at that point, because your mind knows that you're dreaming. So you can actually follow through on the dream. I don't know, Brooks, do you have any, is that working for you? It's working for me.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah.
But you're not going to say exactly how. I understand.
Just to go back to sleep now.
I brought my pillow just in case.
Do you think, you two, that these kind of dreams, relationship, sex dreams, erotic dreams, that you're actually dreaming about an aspect of yourself symbolically represented by another person, what that person, are you of that school of thought that you believe actually you're having sex with yourself in the dream, because it's an aspect of yourself you either need to learn from, release, deal with, or integrate?
I need to learn a lot from the Matt Damon part of myself.
It's what that person represents to you, isn't it? If it's a celebrity, what is it about that celebrity that you need maybe to incorporate into your own personality?
I like to think that we're okay as we are, you know what I mean? And so I don't have that feeling of like, what do I got to discover about myself? Like I like to have the experiences of life. And I figured I figure like we're messy creatures. We're mixed bags. And sometimes this idea of like trying to become like almost perfect, I just want to not do the bad things anymore, just do the good things. But I don't think the universe works that way. It seems like the universe loves opposites. And that's why dreams are so great, because you go into dreams and you can kill people, you can have sex with anyone you want, like all that kind of stuff. And it's no problem. But then in the waking state, it's like, oh, I got to be this, or something's wrong with me because I'm having these thoughts, and I just think we're messy creatures with an intellect that sometimes tells us, well, we got to be better, and then we can't enjoy life because I'm not better, and I just figure it's like life is really like a painting with your, when you're a kid and you paint with your hands, they give you that piece of paper and you paint with your hands and just paint everywhere. I think that's life.
I love that approach. Theresa, what do you think of that? What about the school of thought? I mean, I know that you're familiar with all the dream interpretation schools. What about the school of thought that says, just let yourself have the experience and maybe learn to lucid dream so you could fly or whatever? What do you think of that?
I love it. And this is why I wanted to do this session, because I wanted to really shine the spotlight on dreaming's fun. And I love the way you say that we put so much pressure on us to always understand every single aspect of our dreams and whatever. But sometimes dreams surely are just made to enjoy the bizarreness of it, just to enjoy the craziness, the chaos that's unfolding, and not to get so serious about it. I do think dreams really tell us to stop taking ourselves quite so seriously, because it's a truth universally unacknowledged in spiritual movement. I think that we are all important in our own right, but we're also not that important really in the general scheme of things. And I think a lot of us need to get over ourselves. And I think dreams, especially the bizarre and preposterous ones where you're an ostrich in the dream, or you find yourself doing absolutely nonsense things, it's kind of like your dreaming mind just reminding you of the importance of humility and not taking yourself quite so seriously, and to give you that sense of fun every night, that really life should be fun. And also your dream decoding, if you do it, your dream work, if you're not enjoying it, if it's not giving you a lightness of spirit, you have to wonder why you're doing it. That's my thinking anyway. That's increasingly, maybe that's age, and I start seeing the nonsense in things more. I don't know. I was much more serious 20 years ago about it.
I also think you're appreciating the nonsense more. Well, speaking of, what is your most nonsensical, funny dream, Theresa?
Oh, all of them. I mean, even last night before this, because I love Lord of the Rings, as you know, I was in a car with Gandalf, and he was saying to me, do you want to play underwater chess or badminton? And I actually wanted to play badminton, but I decided to do underwater chess just because I wanted to see Gandalf playing underwater chess. What's that about?
Yeah, well, we can decode that one, but I think it just sounds really fun, right? Just being in the, I would want to see that too. Thank you. Good choice.
So have you got any insight into that, Julia? I'm going to ask you, because I know you're a dream oracle. Can you interpret that for me?
Okay, if I were going to take that seriously, it's not just a funny, cool dream. I would say it's funny and cool, and underwater is often representing the subconscious, right? You wanted to stay underwater with the magic person, with the wizard. You and the magic person. Badminton is above ground, and you're tossing the sort of physical object back and forth. It's very, 3D reality. You wanted to stay with the magic. You wanted to stay right there under the water. That's what it sounds like to me, which of course would be perfect for you. So it's easy to interpret.
Thank you. Brooks, your most bizarre dream.
This is the most bizarre one I've been in yet. This is so weird. I was thinking that whole thing about how when you're in a dream and you don't realize it, and this could easily be a dream, right? Because we're not thinking so you could actually, if you like to interpret your dreams, you can interpret this one right now.
So who do I represent, and who does Theresa represent in this dream?
Yeah, and you can do it right now while you're in the midst of the dream.
No, I'm asking, who do I represent and who does Theresa represent in this dream of yours?
Oh, Julie, you represent a giraffe. walking through New York City. And Theresa, you represent the sun, because
Oh, thank you.
you like to shine, and that's like your main thing. Like, I like to shine, And then I'm like playing with this Hot Wheels car my wife gave me recently that's called a Super Bee, and that means like, oh, maybe I'm a Super Bee after all, and that's my interpretation of this dream.
I love that idea of interpreting right now as a dream.
Yeah, I mean, why not save some time? Then when you wake up, you don't have to do it.
It is brilliant to have that idea of, when you're decoding or interpreting dreams, to have that in your waking life as well, that you start to see the hidden meanings, the other meanings, the associations and the connections behind everyone and everything. And that's really when life gets so exciting.
That flow, there's a flow there, and like with clutter busting is basically letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. And like you said, like we take ourselves too seriously, that never serves us.
Yeah.
And then the more serious we get, the less flexible we are in life. So I think it's sometimes best, like the dreams have a way of annihilating the past. Like you go into a dream, you forget everything, and all of a sudden everything's annihilated. It's perfect letting go. And I really think the more we can just consider ourselves almost insignificant, we can enjoy our lives so much more without that importance aspect, getting in the way. It's like heavy, what's my purpose? All that kind of stuff. It's so exhausting, it doesn't really help. But
just a dream have a way of
dreams,
just, doesn't it?
Like
Ego goes, yeah.
Etch-a-Sketch, remember Etch-a-Sketch when we were kids? Did you have Etch-a-Sketch?
Yeah, where you make the little line move around.
Sure. Yeah, you work really hard creating like a Mona Lisa with all the things, and then you shake it and it goes away. And that's the same thing with when you go to sleep and into dreams. You shake off the past, you shake off whatever you were in, and you're on a whole new world. It's perfect clutter busting.
Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Yes. Theresa, what were you going to say about ego? I think you were saying something about ego.
That's again in dreams, you lose that. You lose all ego along with logic and reason. And I guess that's why dreams can be a source of such creativity, because you can make creative connections in the dream state that you just would not allow yourself to do in waking life, because you'd say, no, that is nonsense. No, that can't go. Like a pear can't go with something completely different like a car. But in your dreaming state, a pear can drive a car. And maybe that can lead to a brainstorming session. You can do that in the dream state. And that's why amazing things like the periodic table, the theory of relativity, all these, inventions and innovations happened in the dream state, when the dreamer was able to make connections between two things that would never do. The ego, order, reason, logic, time and space would not allow it to happen in the waking state. It would just override it. But in the dream state, that goes.
Yeah, so that makes me think.
You're released to dream and imagine.
Yeah, I'm sorry to get excited towards the end there. I got excited.
God, you got excited? Oh,
I know, it's horrible.
No.
I know, but I got excited because your description of letting go of ego and allowing the inspiration to happen in the dream reminded me that the best artists and scientists and writers and people who produce things in the world creatively over and over again, like you, Theresa, you have like 1,000 books. People who are capable of doing that are people who bring that dream sense of play and creativity and inspiration into their day. Like Brooks was saying, they're not leaving it at the door. Like, now I have to go do my serious work. It's more like, it's a continuation of the dream. Now this is just a little different, I can't fly in this one, but bringing in that feeling of creativity and loss of ego, and more like, all right, what else do we have? What else can I receive? It is a receptive. It is a sort of a feminine trait that every scientist, who doesn't matter their gender, stands by. Every artist stands by. So that's really cool.
Well, thank you for mentioning artists. I think I was speaking to you about the other day, how, even Hollywood directors and actors are now, using dreaming as the ultimate creativity hack. We know that many novels, the first sci-fi novel, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley dreamt that. Just imagine how serious and poor the world would be without the inspiration of dreams. But as I say, in the dream state, we can make these connections that sometimes we don't allow ourselves to do in waking life. I'm repeating myself there, but I think it's so important. But I do also want people to enjoy their dreaming. I have been on so many courses and seminars about dreaming, because it's my world. And one thing I would say is that often people approach it with such a serious attitude, and that's important too. But I'd love to see more people smiling, because I believe when you love your dreams, enjoy your dreams, what you're doing is loving and enjoying who you are. And I want everybody to love and enjoy who they are, because once you do that, life gets so much easier. Once you actually enjoy the person you are, love the person you are, take care of them, life is much easier. And I'm kind of on a mission to do that now, to bring some of the fun back into dream work.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I want to hear more about this Hollywood thing that you mentioned, because I'm not sure the people who are listening know about that. I know a little bit about it. I think you know more about it. And it also looks to me like Brooks is inspired to play a song. So
I'd love that, because music and dreams, again, they are so close in my mind. Both evoke feeling, both make creative connections, both say 1,000 things that words can't, both, speak to our soul. Music and dreams for me are one.
Cool.
What I was going to say, yes, I read recently that The Power of the Dog, the director Jane Campion, she has a dream interpreter on set, a lady I think called Kim Gillingham, fascinating, who has worked with Benedict Cumberbatch to help him play such a difficult role. If you've watched Power of the Dog, you understand he had to really get in touch with his shadow side, and he did that through dream work. And I've, also found out since then that directors like Christopher Nolan, of course, he often dreams the plots of his his great movies. Absolutely fascinating. But throughout Hollywood at the moment, a lot of directors it's almost like they're discovering dreams as a source of creativity. But the gaming community, as you know, Julia, because I know you're very engaged with that, Xbox uses the dreams of gamers to inspire the content. And if you look at a dream like a game like Skyrim, for example, that's that's a dream.
Yeah.
You can just see it. And, there is a strong connection between lucid dreaming, that's knowing you're dreaming when you're dreaming, and gaming. I mean, gaming is often frowned on as being not so good for you, but like anything in life, moderation is key, as long as you don't get addicted to it. And when you do no more than half an hour or so a day. But I think gaming can actually really fire up your creativity, and some of that can seep into your dream life. But there is a strong association between gamers and really vivid dreams. And as I say, the gaming community has picked up on that and actually asking gamers to submit their dreams, because it could become the next Xbox sensation. How incredible is that?
It's amazing, and it makes a lot of sense, because when you're gaming over and over again, when you're doing anything over and over again where you're wanting to get better and you're trying to prove your skill, you're training your brain that whatever you're doing is important. So I don't care if it's playing piano or gaming or learning how to sew or doing Aikido, you're training your brain that thing is important. And then what it does is dream about it to try to help learn more. And so it's actually a wonderful way to know that you're actually learning something, is if you dream about it. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that part about Hollywood too. Things in Hollywood last for like 5 seconds, like they're fads. But I hope this one lasts longer, because that seems really valuable.
Sorry, it's not just in arts and music, it's also in innovation, in scientific discovery, and in lots of things that have really helped heal and inspire and move the human race forward, have been dream inspired. Sorry, Brooks, I was interrupting.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. We're interviewing you. So, Theresa, Would you be up for Brooks leading a meditation in how to relax and enjoy your crazy, erotic, nonsense, inappropriate, whatever you want to call it, your nasty dreams? Would you
I
be up for
would
that?
absolutely be blissed out by that, Brooks. I'd love that if it can help people enjoy their dreaming, because when you enjoy your dreaming, you're more likely to recall them and you're more likely to get something out of them, and they're more likely to enrich your life. Just take the stress out of dream interpretation and for us, please, Brooks.
I'll do the best I can.
Great.
So find a comfortable place to sit or to lie down, and close your eyes. And the first thing to encourage you to do is to notice your breathing. Very lightheartedly notice it, like, oh, like you're looking out a window and you see a pretty bird. Notice the breath going in and the breath going out. Breath comes in, the breath goes back out. It's so nice because you don't have to do it. There's so many things you got to do during the day, but you don't have to make yourself breathe. It's taken care of. Basically, it's the most important part of your day is your breathing, because if you weren't breathing, you wouldn't be here anymore. You wouldn't be able to hear any of this or experience this. So nice that we're given this breath. No matter how we feel about ourselves, life continually gives us this gift of the breathing. So life must really like us to continually, and life never goes, you know what, you kind of blew it the other day, so I'm not going to give you your breath. So it's like that never happens, So life likes us exactly as we are. The evidence is apparent in the breath that you're noticing. There's something beautiful in the fluid nature of that breathing. That spontaneity, that flow. And the body lets go of the breath. The body lets go of what it doesn't need anymore. It brings in the oxygen, lets out the carbon dioxide. So the breathing is a really beautiful teacher on letting go of what doesn't serve us. We accept that life-giving oxygen and we release what we don't need. Loves us exactly as we are. And we don't have to remember any of this that's being talked about right now, because we're hearing all this on the level of the heart. So it gets incorporated into us spontaneously. That openness to receiving, which is something that the dreams do for us. At night when we lay down in bed, close our eyes, and we're thinking about the day, and then those thoughts start to fall away and things start to break apart and everything is gone. And then suddenly there's this whole new world. And we're experiencing that world. We're receiving that experience of the dream. And whether there's messages there for us or whether it's just pure enjoyable experience, doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. Because we're given that experience of the dream in the same way we're given the experience of our breath. Life is very generous. There's no lack in life. Life is constantly giving to us. And sure, sometimes things are bumpy. Sometimes we don't like certain things, but everything, that's all temporary, you know. The main thing is that we're alive and we're experiencing. You can't hold on to everything. Things are coming and going. Life is a constant flow of things coming and going. The only thing that stays is this aliveness, this feeling of being alive, this current of life that's within us. As long as we're alive, that's the only thing that stays while things constantly come and go. And dreams are a great role model for that. All kinds of bizarre and wacky things come and go. It helps us to be more spontaneous, more accepting of things when they change. So that's the end of our meditation. You can take as long as you need to come out, to open your eyes, to stretch, or to take a deep breath. Or if you want to keep staying with your eyes closed, that's no problem, you know.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you for that perspective, Brooks. That's what I wanted. That's
Oh, good. That'll be
that's
the part that'll be
beautiful.
in there.
Thank you.
yeah, that was great, Brooks. I really appreciated that.
The flowing, elusive nature of dreams, like
The
comparing them
playfulness
to breath.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the breath and the playfulness. Well, we've come to the part of the interview where I want people to know where they can find your work. So, Brooks, I'm going to start with you because I want to end with Theresa, who's kind of the star. I would like you to answer two questions. One, how would you interpret your backdrop if you saw yourself in a dream with that backdrop? What would that mean to you? And two, where can people find your work?
These are dreams, but the thing is they're not interpretations of dreams. I feel like I'm dreaming when I paint. So they're nonsensical in their own way. And for me, this is like a self-portrait of the flow of energy that's life, you know, and the whole experience of tremendous opposites, you know. So, or you could just look at the painting.
It's wonderful. Right. I like your
The other thing, you
interpretation.
can find me, I'm behind a tree just to the left.
On the internet, where could people find you?
Oh, right. There's clutterbusting.com, that's with an ing. And that's where you can find out. I've got a couple books that are really helpful in the letting go process. So you can find me there. If you go into Insight Timer, which is a meditation app under Brooks Palmer, there's like tons of audio classes that go into the nature of the flow of life and letting go. They really support the letting go process and creativity. There's a lot there about creativity. And then Better Late Than Dead is my pure creative website, which has my songs and my humor book and my paintings and funny stories. BetterLateThanDead.com.
Great. So clutterbusting.com and betterlatethandead.com. Okay, wonderful. And your life is a dream. I like it. All right, Theresa, what about your background and where can we find your work?
Oh, I just want to thank you, Brooks, because, humor and making us smile. I hope people have smiled watching this, or been shocked, or as long as there was a reaction, that's wonderful. I hope you've learned as much as I have from it. And I think humor and dreams have so much in common as well. They're all about unconscious intent, aren't they? And they're also a defense and a release. There's so much there. But to go to my background, I think this is me telling myself to have a bit more courage, to believe in myself a bit more, and just be proud of what I do and love even more what I do. That's what I think it is. It's courage for me, having the courage to be me. I write about that, but I think a lot of people, especially in the spiritual movement, what they write about is what they need to learn. We all do, so I think that's my backdrop. And as I say, in dreams, we enter this world that's entirely of our own creation, and it's extraordinary. And if you are dreaming of, your dreams are kind of mundane or whatever, you don't have to stick with that mundanity. Your dreams can be explosive. Your next dream might lead to the next great movie, film, invention. You don't know. Never ever second guess yourself. You really don't know that tonight you could have a dream that could potentially change the world, like Larry Page's Google dream. He actually dreamt Google, which changed all of our lives. He had a dream when he was at Stanford that he he didn't know what he was going to do with his life. He went to bed and had a dream that everything could be downloaded onto one page. In his waking life, that would have felt impossible, but in the dream state, it was possible. 2 or 3 years later, because he actually left Stanford and focused all his energy on this, and we have Google, and like it or love it, Google has revolutionized all our lives. And that was a dream. It started with a dream. So you don't know, everyone listening, you don't know, your next dream could change the world, but if it changes just your world or an aspect of your life, that's just as important. Remember what I said, that all of us are ordinary and extraordinary at the same time, as Brooks was saying, these opposites. So it doesn't have to be, life-changing. It can just be small things that help you feel better about yourself. That's just as incredible. So that's what I wanted to say about dreams. Julie, I've completely forgot what else I need to do now.
Well, I'm going to change the question, because you already talked about the backdrop. I want to also see what's written on your shirt there.
Oh, this is all the planets. It's about gratitude. I really sourced this. It took a long time to find it.
It says, "I'm grateful."
I love it. It's just
it's the universe.
Astrology, dreams, everything.
It's beautiful. It's like the universe, and you're saying, "I'm grateful."
Well, I'm trying to do that with all the interviews I've done throughout this summit. I'm hoping that people will find them wildly unexpected, because through each of my interviews, I'm trying to kind of almost mirror the dream state, because dreams are unexpected. They're not predictable. So in every one of my interview, I hope if you are tuning into the next one, you think, what is going to happen next? And I love that. I hope there's a sense of excitement as well, because there's something new and unexpected, surprising, that makes you think about things in a different way, because that's what every single dream does. It's trying to get you to brainstorm yourself.
Wow. You are a dream evangelist, a dream angel, dream wizard. I mean, you are all of it. It is profound. You are profound. And each one of your Dream Summit sessions will be like a dream.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope it inspires many, many dreams. And as I say, more people will fall in love with their dreams, the happier and more unified the world will be, because whoever we are, whatever our race, our culture, our age, our belief, we all dream. Dreams like this thread that connects us all. And it'd be wonderful, if we could all dream of a more unified, peaceful, and loving world together.
That's beautiful. But you're not going to get off the hook. I'm still going to ask you to please pick 3 of your books that a dreamer would be interested in reading, and tell us their titles. And then
Well,
tell
I
us
am-
your website.
Oh, Julia.
This is,
I mean,
I'm doing this.
you know, as I said, with your interview, you'll see my awe of you. So thank you very much for doing this interview. And I am a serial writer. It is an addiction. I've written so many books. I've been around a long time in this area, writing book after book about topics in the spiritual and mystical world, mind, body, spirit, science of consciousness. But I guess in recent years, especially because of the lockdown dream phenomenon, I've become more and more well known for dream interpretation, and my symbolic psychological take on it, which is my Dream Dictionary A to Z, published by HarperCollins, and my Element Encyclopedia of 20,000 Dreams. I've also written How to Catch a Dream, which explores my sort of everyday approach to lucid dreaming, because I think a lot of lucid dreaming techniques are quite alarming and complicated and just give you a headache when you think about them. And that when I tried them, they didn't work for me. So I wanted to write a book that really simplifies it and were for people to just incorporate in their lives. And of course, one of my most loved books, The Premonition Code, which I co-authored with you. Well, I say co-authored because you are the science of precognition that you brought there. So thank you so much, because I love this connection between science and spirit that book tried to seesaw. But a lot of that book is me asking you to explain.
It worked out perfectly. A lot of that book is you telling me that I need to explain things better. So
just say please tell, but it's tremendous fun, and I'm so pleased that it continues to live on and inspire people, and there's groups of people having more precognitive dreams because of the system you put in place in association with that book at www.thepremonitioncode, where people can learn how to be more precognitive, to dream more precognitively with their eyes wide open and shut through a series of a kind of scientific approach to it. So it's really exciting. But my website is www.theresachang.com, and that's kind of like my portal. I'm also quite active on social media.
That's right. And I would just like to quickly just highlight How to Catch a Dream. I read it and I was blown away. I've read probably 2/3 of the lucid dreaming books, the technical ones and the less so technical ones. And How to Catch a Dream, it just brings it right to you. Whether you want to use lucid dreaming as just a way to fly, or you just want to remember your dreams more, it is beautiful, practical. I love it. It's one of my favorite books. So I would really recommend that book as a place to start if you're just starting out, or even if you're not and you just want to find out what you can learn more. Thanks, Theresa.
This is like a dream, this. Thank you, Brooks and Julia. You are inspirations, and thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here and letting us asking questions and put you in the spotlight. It's a great dream.
Or nightmare.
Nope, it's a great dream.
On your perspective.
Lots of love, everybody.
Thank you, Brooks, Julia.
Take care.
You're welcome. Thank you.